Welcome, ladies. Welcome to today's event. This is BitQueens, and it's such a delight to have everyone. Welcome, Carol. Welcome, Charity. Welcome, Gbemi. Welcome, Virginia. You are highly welcome. And today we are going to be diving into the world of tokenization. That is, tokenization of real-world assets and how that can empower women. So you're welcome to another interesting session. Actually, we're going to be having these presentation in series, right? This is one huge area, and so we want to break it down in such a way that you're able to grasp it, and you're also able to see all the opportunities that are available and how you can maximize it. So with that said, please go to the comments and tell us how your day has been. We would like to have that feedback. We'd like to know how you are faring, how your week has been, what your expectations are for our presentation today. And if you know anyone who is supposed to be here and not here already, please leave them a message. Tell them that we're here and we have started. So I'm going through the chats at the moment, and I can see your feedback. Charity says, hello, BitQueens, happy Sunday. Yes, Charity, it's good to have you. Virginia says, hello, Carol. Hello, everyone. Good to be right here. Good to have everyone. So while you're sending in your feedback, I'll quickly pull up my screen so that we get started for our conversation for today. It promises to be very insightful. Get your journal, your screenshot application, whatever allows you capture your thoughts during the presentation. Please do well to have that beside you. And of course, if you have any questions or any inquiries, drop them in the chat. I'll be going through the chat from time to time to incorporate whatever questions that you may have in the presentation. And if we're unable to do that by the end of our session, we will take your questions or your inquiries. So with that said, let's get started. Please do let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, thank you, Carol, for the feedback. Thank you so much. And we hope you are feeling better, and we pray you get better soon. Thank you so much for joining us despite the fact that you're not feeling too well. It's always good to have you here. So welcome, everybody. Please let me know if you can read my screen. Yes, we're going to be dealing with tokenization of real-world assets, what it is and why it matters for women. Yes, thank you, Carol, for the feedback. Thank you, Madam Gbemi, for your feedback. Yes, thank you so much for that feedback. So if you're just meeting me for the first time, you're just joining us, my name is Christy Emmanuel. I'm a blockchain educator for women and the founder of BitQueens. So you're welcome to BitQueens. BitQueens is a platform for blockchain education for women, and we help you understand how you can leverage blockchain to empower yourself. Our vision is to create a community where you feel supported, you feel confident and excited to begin to explore all the different opportunities within this space. And so we've been doing this. We hold these sessions every week. Sundays, actually 5 p.m. West African time, 4 p.m. GMT, where we dive deep into the world of blockchain and cryptocurrencies and of course Web3 to bring you up to speed what's happening in that space and how you can leverage it for empowerment of yourself and of course to empower other women. So what are we going to be learning? I already gave us a background. We're going to be talking about tokenization. So we're going to be understanding what tokenization is, why tokenization, why it matters for women, and then we will interact. Like I said, we're going to be having this in series. This is such a huge subject matter, and little time will not be enough to go deep into every aspect of tokenization. So we're going to be having this series in the next couple of weeks. So you want to join us and don't miss the train. I mean, once you've started now, you want to see it through till we end the series. So you just took out your phone, and with the click of a few buttons, you're already buying shares of a real estate company, maybe somewhere in Dubai, or an aviation company somewhere in Europe. You're already a co-owner of the most famous painting in the world. You already purchased a share of the ownership of the company that manufactures this luxury car. Or you love this bag, but it's so on the high end, yet you do not want to miss the gains that come with marketing this back to women who can afford to buy it. So you pick out your phone, you buy shares of a luxury brand that is producing the most luxurious handbags in the world. Now, that is mind-blowing if you ask me. And if you think it's not possible, you have to wake up, because tokenization is where the world is headed, and blockchain technology is making that possible. So in case you're asking, oh, why is this possible and how is this possible? It is tokenization. Tokenization of real world assets. So in case you're asking or wondering, what exactly tokenization means? Just think of tokenization as a piece of cake that you share with your friends. You know, normally in the traditional sense, it would be possible for somebody to own a real estate alone, or maybe own a company alone, or own any asset as it were alone. But in tokenization, the ownership of that asset is distributed. I mean, is decentralized. So think of tokenization as sharing a piece of cake with your friends, maybe at a birthday party or something, right? So it's the fractional ownership of real world assets. Now, mark the terms here: fractional ownership, meaning that the assets ownership is decentralized, meaning not owned by just one person. And we're talking about real world assets. We're coming to that. Now, it's also about having the asset running on the blockchain. So that asset is brought on the blockchain, thereby making it possible for people to own the ownership rights of that particular asset. So it's powered by blockchain technology. And guess what you get? So instead of having a piece of the cake, which represents your ownership of the slice of the cake, as it were, you get tokens, and these tokens represent the underlying asset whose ownership is being decentralized. So you are not getting share certificate like you would get if you were investing in traditional companies, maybe like an oil and gas company, shares of a bank or a financial institution, as it were. In this case, you are getting tokens according to the level of your participation that represent the underlying assets. And these tokens can buy them from exchanges, you can sell them, you can trade them, that is to exchange them for one asset to the other. You can even mint them, more like producing these tokens, just like the way miners produce Bitcoin. So there is another technique for producing cryptocurrency in the blockchain space that refers to what we call minting. So you can also produce these tokens. You can even transfer your ownership of these tokens to maybe a next of kin. So these are the possibilities that you have when it comes to tokenization of real world asset. That is fractional ownership of real world asset. That is breaking the ownership of an asset into smaller bits, because it is now put on the blockchain, and people can now hold tokens that represent their participation of the ownership of real world assets. So tokenization, like I said, is converting ownership rights or value of real world assets into digital tokens on a blockchain. So what makes tokenization possible is the fact that it is on a blockchain. And so instead of getting paper like share certificates in the traditional sense, you are getting tokens that represent the ownership of those assets. And in case you're still asking, what are real world assets? Now, anything of value that you can think of, whether it's tangible or intangible, is a real world asset. So tangible, like an aircraft, for instance, real estate is an asset, a land is an asset. These are physical things. You can see them, you can touch them, right? Intangible assets like patents, copyrights, movie, intellectual property generally. You write a book, it's an intellectual property. You have a movie, you created an idea about a movie or a music, that's intellectual property, and all of that and more can be tokenized. So long it has economic value, then it can be tokenized. So these are real world assets. So in case you're asking what is blockchain, now think of blockchain as a ledger, a kind of book where you record information, you capture data in a way that is not just open to you, it's open to many other people because it is on a network. So in that network, you have other people who are onto that same network, who have a copy of that book or ledger, if you will. And so everything that is recorded in that ledger duplicates itself across other ledgers that represent a copy of this particular book that you have. So whatever information you have there, other ledgers have it automatically because it updates itself. So when new information is added, these other ledgers are also updated, making it difficult for anybody to change any information that you have. And of course, making it transparent enough for everybody to know what the ledger contains or what the information is or what the data is in a way that is secure, because any attempt to change whatever information you have in there automatically indicates that there's a foul play that is about to happen. So that's exactly what blockchain is. A decentralized ledger, a ledger that is digital. That's why it's different from the usual ledger that people hold, maybe like your diary where you enter personal stuff. But this one is digital because it's on the internet and it's on a network. And those who connect to the network have a copy of this ledger and they can see real time what information is added at every point in time, making it transparent, making it secure, and making it decentralized, meaning not controlled by any one person. So you can see how blockchain, the features of blockchain play a role in tokenization. So imagine bringing an asset to this type of ledger or this type of network where everybody can see everything, because we're talking about assets, and assets represent value, and value means money. So you imagine having such assets on this kind of technology where everybody can see it, where everybody can view it, where you cannot manipulate the system or cheat it, and where there's no single point of failure, as it were. That's the power of blockchain to the real world asset. That is decentralizing ownership of assets or changing the way people invest in real world assets. So that's what blockchain is. And that's why it's important for us as women to understand the power within the tokenization space and how that can benefit us. So what can be tokenized? Just imagine what do you think can be tokenized? Now, at this point in time, I want you to go to the comments. Tell me of anything you think that can be tokenized. I will be going to the chats to see your responses. What do you think can be tokenized, or what do you know can be tokenized? I want to see your feedback coming in. I'm going to the chats now to see what you think can be tokenized. Yes, Virginia says real estate. Soma says real estate. Fantastic. My computer, sorry, I can't get your name. Please, you may want to change that. Says AI. Fantastic. That's amazing. I love that. Yes, what else can be tokenized? Let me have your feedback, please. It's good to know that you are following and that you are understanding what we are discussing. Movies, yes, movies can be tokenized. Hotels, artworks, correct. Aviation can be tokenized. Painting, aircraft, fantastic. So I'm so happy because this means that you are paying attention and you are understanding what we are doing. So thank you for your feedback, ladies. So everything can be tokenized so long it has economic value, everything that you can think of, whether it's tangible or intangible, meaning whether they are physical things or assets or intangible assets, they can be tokenized. So imagine artworks, the famous artwork, or any kind of artwork for that matter, can be tokenized. An aircraft can be tokenized, or the company managing that aircraft can be tokenized. Energy can be tokenized, or you could even have equity shares, meaning fractional ownership of a particular company can be tokenized. Real estate, precious metals like gold, diamond, they can be tokenized. Movies can be tokenized. Limited edition of cars, you know, there are these cars that are so limited when they were produced, as in just very few were produced. And if you are lucky to lay your hands on any one, they are very expensive. Such vehicles or cars can be tokenized. It could be a limited edition, like I said, or a luxury car they can be tokenized. So anything that has economic value can be tokenized. Don't forget intellectual property, also licenses, patents, copyrights, all these can be tokenized. You write a book, you can tokenize it, right? So everything of economic value can be tokenized. And so what's the benefit of tokenization? Why should we even be paying attention? Like I always say, tokenization has been one of the hottest topics in the past 2 years within the blockchain space. And that's because it is disrupting the way people invest in real assets. Imagine that you're here in Nigeria, for instance, and you have shares of a real estate company, or you are over there in Europe and you have shares of a company in the US, all right? So tokenization makes it possible for people to participate in ownership of assets. They can sell it, they can trade it, they can exchange it, they can hold it, they can transfer it, and do so many. So it's changing the way in which we invest in ownership of assets. So one of the major benefits of participating in tokenization is that it lowers entry barrier. Now let's talk about real estate, because it's one of the commonest type of real-world assets that people, always want to invest in it, requiring thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to go into real estate. You can already tell that it's not everybody can afford such an amount. But with tokenization, with as low as $100, for instance, right, someone can go into participation in the ownership of real estate. So what that means is, obviously, $100 cannot buy you the entire real estate, but you are going to be getting a share, a fractional ownership of that particular asset, which is the real estate in this case. Meaning that as a real estate company is expanding in value, remember, real estate is not just for nothing. People have need for real estate, whether for residential purposes or commercial purposes, or for building their companies or whatever it is. People always need real estate. And so as this real estate company is expanding, the value is reflected on the tokens that you hold that represent your participation. So why this is so unique is because it is on the blockchain. And because these tokens are given to you, they behave like cryptocurrencies. And so they can be traded on exchanges. You can buy some more, you can sell the ones you have, you can even hold and wait for the value to keep appreciating with appreciating value that the company brings to the marketplace. Now let's look at another one, increased liquidity. So because the usual traditional investment system does not allow everybody to enter because of, obviously, there are a huge amount of money that is required. This opens gateway for more people to participate. So when more people are participating in a particular industry, like the real estate, for instance, or maybe aviation, or any other area for that matter, you can tell that there will be increased liquidity. Liquidity means more funds will go into that sector, all right? So making it possible for even illiquid assets to become more liquid. So that's one benefit of participating in tokenization. Then greater transparency because it's on the blockchain. Now, let me tell you, you can co-own an asset with somebody and have a receipt or a document to say that this is your participation. But there is no way you can tell for sure that this is exactly what, the value of what you hold is, because you are not in the system. Let me say, for instance, you own share of a bank. Now, what they usually do is they declare what the profit is at the end of the year, maybe after 6 months or however they do it. And when they declare dividends, what is due to you is given to you as, according to your participation. But how are you truly sure that that's what is due to you? How are you sure that the company is declaring every profit that they made? So that is one of the challenges we have in the traditional investment system, where you cannot tell since third party is involved, all right? So with blockchain technology, there is room for greater transparency because everything is captured on the blockchain. Now, the number of tokens assigned for that particular project is known, and everybody gets a percentage of their participation, and therefore reflects truly in value what they own. So if you own, let's say, 1% of the total shares of that particular digital share of that particular asset. It will also reflect in the rewards or the gains or the appreciation in value that you see. So this presents a greater transparency for people who are coming into the investment space. Then we have enhanced security. Like I said, you can co-own a piece of land, for instance, with someone, even if you have a receipt that shows or a certificate that shows your co-ownership. I tell you what, that piece of land can still be sold without you knowing, all right? So there's no security, no guarantee that because you have your name on the document or you co-own that document with the person, and so there's complete control or complete security of your own part of the shares of the assets. So that's why tokenization makes it decentralized for everybody to hold their own tokens. So your own tokens are not in the hands of anybody. They are in your own private wallet, and then you can sell them at any time you want, or buy more, or hold them, or transfer them as you choose. So there's enhanced security. There is no issue of theft. There's no issue of someone selling the property or selling the assets without you knowing, and disappearing with the proceeds of the assets and all that. So this provides enhanced security for those looking to participate in investments in the blockchain space. And of course, more diversity, because now there is a window for you to buy into different assets. So you're not stuck with only real estate, for instance. You can now buy shares of an aviation company or a drone company, for instance, or into a luxury brand, whether it's a car or handbags or any other luxury item of your choice. You could even invest in precious metals and all that type of stuff. So there's opportunity for you to diversify your portfolio. You are not just dependent on just one asset class, as it were. So these are the benefits of participating in tokenization. That's the value, the benefits that tokenization bring to the marketplace. So why does it matter for women? Why does tokenization matter for women? It's one way for women to begin to participate in the blockchain and crypto space. We're still talking about the huge gap in participation, poor representation of women in the blockchain space. So tokenization offers one way for women to now begin to look into the space and say, oh, this is amazing. We can, learn about it and begin to take advantage of all the opportunities that are available within the space. Then this, of course, offers opportunity for women to begin to invest in different assets, as it were, take advantage of different assets, diversify their portfolio, diversify their sources of income, and of course, begin to create wealth and build wealth for themselves. Now, it's another way for women to raise funds to expand their business. Yes, because remember, tokenization is about having people co-own an asset. So like I said, with as little as $100, you can invest. So when you are buying into the ownership of an asset, you are giving the owners of that asset your funds to expand the business, to grow it, or to provide more services that will lead to more profit, that will now reflect in the tokens that you hold, which represent your own participation. So women who are creating solutions, but do not have all the funds and do not want to go to the banks to borrow money because of the high interest rates that come with that, could actually raise funds using tokenization. So there's a process to doing that. And in our subsequent presentations or training sessions, we're going to be looking at how that works. Then community building. You see, these tokenization projects build supportive communities. So it's one way for women to participate in community building, to understand how to collaborate with other women, and of course, to support other women's financial journey. So community building is one advantage that women can get, because when there's a tokenization project, you have a community of people. And so women can belong to this community and learn how to interact with other people, learn how to interact with other women, learn how to support other women all together in that financial journey. And of course, tokenization can help women support social causes or environmental causes that align to their values, right? So they can invest in companies that do such projects, tokenization projects. Let's say you love the environment and there's a company that is dealing with carbon credits. You can also invest, because by so doing, you are supporting causes that makes the environment better for everybody. Or you can participate in a tokenization project. You make some money there, or you gain some income there, and then use it to support other projects, whether it's supporting women who are pregnant or don't have access to health facilities, or children who are out of school, or whatever social cause that aligns with your values. So it's one way for women to raise funds to support social and environmental causes. So that's why women need to understand how tokenization works and how they can empower themselves with it. And with that, we come to the end. Yes, like I told you, we are going to be breaking this down, taking everything that we need to get, and of course, see where the opportunities lie and begin to take advantage. So we come to the end of our presentation. Yes, what did we learn? We learned what tokenization is, the benefits of tokenization, and why women should pay attention, why it matters for women, and why we should begin to pay attention to this industry or this space. So with that said, we come to the end of today's presentation. Do you have any questions? Do you have any contributions? You want to share an experience? We are going right into our interactive session. But before we do that, if you're listening to us, maybe you're watching us from YouTube or from any of our social media platforms, and you're yet to join our community and you enjoyed today's session, please feel free to request to be part of our community. You can write us a mail, bitquizhq@gmail.com, or you can even leave us a comment if you're watching on YouTube. We'll definitely get across to you. Like we said, Bitquiz is a community that is helping women learn about blockchain technology, about cryptocurrencies, about Web3, and how they can empower themselves with it. And with that said, we also want to announce that we are looking for volunteers and interns. So if you have skills, or you know anyone who has skills within community management, content creation, video editing, graphics designs, who is someone who is a social media strategist, then please feel free to apply. Send us a mail, bitquizhq@gmail.com, and we will give you all the details and everything you need to know to be part of the Bitquiz team. We're doing this because our community is expanding and we need more hands to be able to deliver quality content, good content, and of course, to create more awareness, to spread the word, get more women to understand what's happening in the blockchain space and how they can get empowered. So if you're not yet following us on all our social media platforms, please do well to follow us. We're there as Bitquiz, whether on Facebook, on Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you can find us there as Bitquiz. And if you have any inquiries, any questions to any topics we've treated in the past, or even today's topic, and you want to ask us private questions, or you want to make a special inquiry, please feel free to write us. Email address is bitquizhq@gmail.com, and we'll be glad to respond to whatever inquiries or concerns that you may have. With that said, it's time now for our interactive session. So ladies, let me get your feedback. Okay, I'm going through the comments now. Do you have any questions? Do you want to share an experience? Yes, thank you everyone that is still here. Thank you, Carol, Charity, I see you, Madam Gwemi, Soma, Virginia. Okay, that's Ruka. Ruka, I see you. Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. Does anyone want to share anything? Yeah, today was very quick. Yes, but that's because we have a lot to discuss when it comes to tokenization. And I thought it would be nice to break it down, take it gradually. Today, we went through what tokenization is, the benefits it brings to the investment world, and participation in ownership of real-world assets, and why women should pay attention. Okay, so thank you everyone for being here. If we don't have any questions, I trust that you had great time and you got value for your time here. Remember, we do these sessions every Sunday, 5 p.m. West African time, 4 p.m. GMT. And so do well to join us next Sunday as we continue our conversation on tokenization of real-world assets, what it is and why it matters for women. And of course, stay active in the community. If you have any questions beyond this session, maybe something runs through your mind and you want to find out or learn more, please feel free to drop them in our community and we'll be there to respond to whatever questions or concerns that you may have. So with that said, we come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for your feedback. Yes, and Carol, thank you for coming in, even though you're not feeling too well. Your presence always make a difference. Thank you so much, and we wish you speedy recovery. See you, everybody, next Sunday, 5 p.m. West African time, with another fresh but interesting episode of our tokenization journey. Yes, thank you, Charity, for your feedback. Ruka says, thank you, Coach. You always be informed. Thank you so much for your feedback. Yeah, thank you. So see you, everybody. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye.